Hello everyone, I am Alfie Fan 2005 and this is my review of the Beano, number 4196. Let's take a look. We start off with Mayor Brown becoming the Beano boss. Dennis, Harsha and Minnie are having fun when suddenly the evil and greedy Mayor Brown comes in and spoils their fun and announces, as this is a very special Beano, he has decided that he should be the Beano boss this week. Minnie replies with no way, that since this is against the rules. But Wilbur's Brown's rule says different. That's not a rule, that's a statement. Dennis replies with, as they would consider breaking a rule. Harsha replies with, does that sound like something they would do? They reply with a just kidding, and they chase Mayor Brown. First story, the Big Beano birthday bash. Sandra Menace asks Wilbur the sewergate problem is getting worse. The sewers are in a state. Sewer gators have been popping up in streets. The people needed to vote for Wilbur to get rid of sewer gators. If he did that, why would they vote for him again? Yeah. Yes? Recording a video. Sandra replies with, it's Beano's 85th birthday the next week. What's Beano? Wilbur knows what the Beano is. Is he acting like an idiot? He tried to take it over in 2016. Sandra explains to him. Wilbur replies with, he needs something special to commemorate kids. The best way to do that is a statue of him. Wilbur decides to be selfish and thinks about himself. Later, at a car park, Wilbur is getting angry with Professor Von Screwtop. Screwtop replies with, he hasn't started it yet. First he needs to scan his face. A drone scans his face and Wilbur's eyes are a bit blurry. Then his laser drones can get to work. Wilbur replies with, it's a perfect likeness in me of him getting a bright light shown in his face and tells him to do it again. But this time bigger and better, and he knows just the mountain to carve it into. Sandra says he does not have the plumbing permission. Wilbur says just his face, his massive face. Screwtop says he refuses to take part in his massive face plan. That Wilbur yeets Screwtop out and says that's okay, he has to find someone that will. Wilbur recruits an evil sculptor / scientist. Is she that person? The scientist says, it's just what I want it to be. The scientist is Dr. Fufelfeffer from Dennis and Nasher Unleashed. Minnie talks to Grizzly Griller and tells her what is he doing here. In his spare time, he's a keen hill walker. Mount Beano is one of the best. Minnie just sighs off and walks away. The mayor, then Sandra explains to her husband, the mayor plans to carve his face into Mount Beano. Ugh. Then we'll have him looking down on us wherever we are. Outside the door, Dennis Jr. hears the message and runs with Nasher to stop Mayor Brown. Sandra thinks Dennis has heard it. Because Sandra works for the mayor. She talks about her work all the time. Dennis gathers all of his friends: Dangerous Dan, Minnie, Pieface, Ruby, Calamity James, Roger, and JJ. What about the Bash Street Kids? Meebo and Zuki, Daisy, all of the other classic characters. Ruby explains she can stop it by hacking into the laser drones and putting her face on instead. That's a brilliant idea, Ruby. Her face? Then she sings a song about her face. Then we meet the Bash Street Kids, who are no longer 9 children, just 15, due to political correctness. Maria, aka a female ball boy, replies to one of the Bash Street Kids by asking, the chips are actually in the pasty. It's genius. Grizzly Grilla replies to them for thanks for joining his walking club. Then Smithy, being the stupid idiot he is, climbs over a car park. The Bash Street Kids go through the mountain. Wilbur talks to himself like I do before my dad takes my tablet off or computer off me. Fooful Feather's laser drones approach the mountain. Plug replies with, you get a lovely view of the laser drones up here. What? Then they get attacked by said laser drones. He tells the children to run before the path is obliterated. Then explosions, like a Michael Bay film. Dennis replies with, the carving has started. He's in. Ruby is in, but can't find the above. What about if you just change what they're carving? Yes, I can upload a new picture. I'm sending you a picture of Mount Beano right now. Then they start hacking because then Minnie's plan works. And then she laughs. And then she uploaded the picture of her face. Her face. Her face. Then the Bash Street Kids are doomed. Then they're hard at work. Then Wilbur brags about his face. Then Minnie brags about her face. Minnie sent the wrong photo. Then the laser drones are out of battery. Then Grizzly Gorilla has no idea what's going on. Fatty says, or Freddy says, you can't fool us. You must be filming a new show. Is he serious? That would be the worst TV show ever. Then Wilbur says, to celebrate Beano's 85th birthday, we've carved the faces of some kids on a mountain because he believes children are the future or something. Bit random to the best speech ever. The mountain shows Dennis, Minnie, and Harsha. They're changing it back tomorrow when the laser drones are recharged. Dennis says, happy birthday to us. There's an advertisement for the Dennis and Asher Boo Mix. Then, next comic, Ha-Ha's Joke Shop, where there's a story about squishy tomatoes. And a prank. Calamity James, where there's a summer fair. Nasher and Nipper, where 2 dogs cause trouble during, you guessed it, a summer fete. Minnie the Minx, when Minnie chases an ice cream man and destroys her van. Or his van. Sorry. Angel Face investigates. These are the mainstays now. And Jem Jones. Betty and the Yeti, where Yeti buys lots of bubble wrap and expensive things while her dad plays video games. Ruby's Screwed Up Science, when Ruby makes a, invention, but sometimes goes wrong. Billy Wiz, the fastest boy in the world, where Billy is just doing plants and stuff. Banana Man, where Banana Man stops Dr. Gloom by new invention, a Lego brick. And guess who appears in it? Alfie Wiz, Billy Wiz's little brother. Then a guest page, draw pictures page, when Wilbur says something about choosing the letters of nice, well-behaved children, and who switched them for these British. It turns out to be Dennis. The numbskulls, or should I say alien skulls, appear. Dangerous Stan appears with a story about the beach. The Backstreet Kids have a story about summer, which goes on for many parts. We have to find one next week. Then the numbskulls, or the alien skulls, with one about video games no more. Never play video games, but Red Dead Redemption 2, that is not a game. And a puzzle page, along with Roger the Dodger. Let's go back to the past. Beano Book 2002. We start off with Daisy getting married, but her dad does an evil grin. The 9 Hellraisers, the Backstreet Kids, the 3 Bears with Breeds, B, Olive, Pa, Ted, Ivy, Ball Boy and Friends, Billy Wiz, Roger, and every other Beano character does appear. Flip page. We see a bunch of kids destroying an old man's fence. That guy's Dennis's granddad. Dennis and Nasha cause trouble as always. Dennis is a bug buster. Then he gets out of Bug Phone. The bugs. Dennis and Nasha leave. Then Dennis says leave this to the bug busters. With a generic family scared of bugs. Nasha scares the bugs, and Dennis, being the mischievous brat he is, causes trouble. The bugs go into the jar. Dennis tells them not to worry, since he's moving them to a new home. The bugs quickly idolize Dennis, like they do. Dennis dumps them in Walter's house. Or shouldn't that be Mayor Wilbur's house? Since this guy is actually Mayor Brown when he was a kid. Dennis, a baker, says, a bugbuster, just the person he needs. Then the bugbuster looks, Dennis tells him to clear the shop. Okay, you. Fancy a cake? They're just faking it. Then Dennis grabs Nasha, and his cakes are gone. It's great fun being a bug buster with his friends Curly and Pieface. Then the boss gets some new staff, and all of the people Dennis pissed off get revenge. Then a page for a web page with Web Boy hanging out with the Backstreet Kids. And so there's the numbskulls. Not the alien skulls, but human numbskulls. Doing history. Splodge, a goblin with a robot. Let's pretend. Little Larry. And even worse, Ivy the Terrible. General Jumbo, an adventure strip who has many adventures. Mini Ha-Has. Minnie the Minx getting a treehouse. Then it gets destroyed. Your History, starring the numbskulls yet again. Billy Wiz, the fastest boy in the world. in that 90s tracksuit. Then they're the kids from Bash Street School. They jive. They should always have 9. The headmaster, Mr. Headington, rings the police since there's a major crime taking place at the school. The headmaster asks a policeman to report a theft. Then the policeman says, give him the details and he'll send someone around. One of his biscuits was stolen from his study at playtime. They can't waste police time looking for a missing chalky biscuit, which becomes hypocritical to nicking a jam donut. Then teacher gets tied up. Headmaster says the biscuit's thinks it's in Fatty's tum. Then Smithy eats coal since he's stupid. Where were they at playtime? The janitor gets pissed, and they were fighting with water pistols. They're innocent. Then they investigate the mystery. Very likely, Fatty's too fat to get through the window. There's stains around his mouth. Oh well, yeah. They don't eat. Cupboard doesn't eat. Then the other Bash Street kids do ridiculous. Then but Olive informs the chalky bicky thieves at it again. Then they chase. Then the headmaster thinks it's Wilfred, and then Wilfred comes, and Danny realizes it's fake. Then Plug throws the biscuit, the pizza, and it's revealed to be Les Pretend. The Bash Street kids eat biscuits along with the headmaster. Dennis and Nasher battle robots. Yes, they battle robots. Then the robot comes and destroys Dennis. Then the 3 bears, along with Bee and Dennis's gran. Or could that be Bee's first incarnation? The 3 bears have adventures through the desert. And then, at the end, Dennis has a pie. Nasher and Nipper sniff the ground and wag their tails. Then they dig and eat bones. Then someone wants Nasher and Nipper to work. Then Nasher and Nipper, then he tells the humans they need to go to the desert. Then they leave. Then Nazi Man and his wife go to the desert. Then the suitcases melt. They have to find water somewhere. And then they sniff. And then Nipper, being a dog, points at something. Then Nipper thinks it's very smelly. And Dennis's granddad tells him to bury it again. Then he finds something. Then he can hear it. He tells his son it's only dirty water. Then it's just oil. They're still digging. And Nasher and Nipper hang out with butlers and Nazi Man, a dad Hitler, and his wife have fun. Then they give them anything they want. Then B has wannabe. Calamity James has bad luck yet again. Tim Traveller, travelling through time into caveman times. Then it done him 1,065 million years. Then, one day in the Beano office, that Maldives put him off his shot. They want a word with the editor. They are fed up with hardly getting mentioned in the Weekly Beano. Either the editor does them as heroes, or he eats lives prune and tofu. The editor at the time was Yuan Kerr, not to be confused with Cruncher Kerr. Then we look at a different Beano. A different look at your favourite comic. Turn page. It starts off with Walter the Softy and Fufu, or Wilbur the Bully and Claudia. if you're in the new timeline. Well, Dennis and Nasha get thumped out by Walter. Then Walter and Fufu do many boyish, girly things, making them act like girl characters. They could be transgenders nowadays, since PC and Woke came here. Then Rasha realises he's gone too far, and wakes up Dennis. Then he tells him Walter and Fufu are going to come out on top. Then, on top of Rasha, that is. Change page. Minnie the Minx's cat Chester becomes just like his mistress. To punish a very naughty doggy, then, Les pretends dad pretends to be Elvis. Maybe this could be a comic done for boomers. Like what boomers could read. Like watching a man impersonate Elvis every day. Then, someone who started my old channel, the man, the myth, the legend, Alfie! Let me read this. I'm not just Billy Withers' little brother, you know. I'm quite a fast mover too. Suddenly. Wow, just avoided him. And again, ha-ha, easy. In fact, all this training has made me into a champion at Alfie's playgroup. Ah, too fast. Wow. Ooh, I'm the tag champion for our playgroup. The head, Mr. Headington and Olive have lots of fun. And Mr. Headington could be the only boomer I could ever respect. And Alexander fucking Lemming. Then he gives his friends. Then he gives Calamity James potty, has diarrhea, and has fun. Then Titch has lots of cool things. Tormenting Ball Boy. Then Chip the robot dog. The one and only Hank. Nash's fleas. Dodge Cat. Then it ends. Then the numbskulls again. Having fun. For one goddamn reason. Showing Ed's naughty bits. Which are just everyday things. Then they do what we were expecting. Then there's a big bum, smelly feet, and felly face. Then he swears a lot. Not swears. Then and he gets a black eye. Then joking tells jokes. Ivy the Terrible, who should still appear in the Beano if political correctness wasn't around, goes on a trip to an aristocrat's house, then causes trouble for chefs and others. That chef seeks vengeance on Ivy. Then Ivy goes to a maze. Then he tells them to stay together. Then he leaves. And the other family members desert Ivy. And how will she get through? It's actually pretty simple. Exiting the maze is very simple. Direct the family to the way out. For the rest of your comic. Then they go for food. And go to the haunted dungeon. When the crypto's weak, when the tools just straight, suits come out for the swing of the night. Then the aristocrat thinks of it. Then he has fun. Then they go home. Ghostbusters. Then some of his chums use it. And then the ghost says, dude, cool. Then Ivy and the ghosts have fun. Then a puzzle page. And it quickly transforms into chaos. Then your history, starring the numbskulls. Roger the Dodger. Reading a Dodge book, then he realizes he has to take it back. Along with his antagonist, Crunchaka, who's named after Yuanka. Then he has to borrow the book again to stop him. Then he has to do some Roger the Dodger things. And there's a lot of cats. Pictures of pigs. Then Nasha escaping from the Beano as a photo story. Minnie the Minx with a tornado. Then the Colonel having Colonel stuff. Explaining how he became, well, a Colonel. Your History starring Picasso with the numbskulls. And Beano characters splashing out for money. Then the Bash Street Kids again with a hotel. There's a lot of hotel stuff. Then Crazy for Daisy. Getting, well, crazy. He just wants his cornetto. Then he tells him to can it. Then in Italy they see a destroyed vehicle. Then Ball Boy goes to tells them the discovery's name. Then Seasiders. When Ball Boy's parents go to Seasides. Okay. And Ball Boy spot the star puzzle. Then Beginnings. The last one. The penultimate strip. Bee's parents buy her a lovely new bath and tell her to have a bath before bedtime. Then she wouldn't be seen wet in it. So Dennis's granddad, or dad if you're living in the pre-retcon era, tell her to get in her. Then Mum goes out to get a sponge. What a good mum. Then Bee can reach the brush. A toilet brush, that is! Then, what else does she have in there? Scales. But the scales are over there. Not bathroom scales. Fishy scales! Then Dennis's granddad screams. Ah! Then he drags him back to him. Then Bee's mum asks her, time to get out on your mat. Then it turns into a wrestling match. Do you yield? I do not. Then Bee's mum tells her to put on her new romper suit. And then explains that's horrible. And then she tells Mum she's forgot her talc. Then they get covered in talc. Is that the talc that's Dennis's mum threatened to destroy his Beano back in Beano Annual 2005? Then Bee's parents bump into each other. Then Dennis and Bee go raving. Sleep? No way! Us is going out! See yes! Yeah, come on Bee! Let's go clubbing! Raving over the Ravo. Then Roger the Dodger's last story is about cowboys. Damn! Then Cruncher Kurt appears in a cowboy costume. Then, the last but not least, the Beano, the ending contains something about the 9 Hellraisers, bears, and more, as Daisy's dad evilly captures Ernest. And Dennis has fun.